Hey guys, Western Mine Detective here, coming at you with another mine exploring video. So I was looking up the gulch that I'm about to head up, and I've actually been to this site once before, not the mine itself. I actually couldn't find the old miner's trail that I was supposed to head on. It's supposed to be really overgrown, but this time I have a better idea of where it is. I've got my trusty hiking stick with me and my trusty hiking boots, because this is supposed to be quite a steep hike. And right in front of me we've got the remnants of the old stacked rock wall. The trail would have been right above that. There's still remnants of it right over here as well. So my original plan was to release the first part of this video by itself, but I just figured that I would make this a two-parter video, so that's gonna come up right now. So I hope you guys enjoy. Alright guys, so I pretty much gave up all hopes on finding this mine today, but now I'm in search of cool waterfalls. I'm still in the same gulch. And just look at this rock. It's crazy because it's like, I think concave would be the word. Then you got the creek running right next to it. And look how narrow it gets. Alright guys, so I made it to the waterfall. Check that thing out. That thing's at least like 40 or 50 feet tall. And as you can see right here, there's a pretty deep pool of water, probably 2 feet deep. But yeah, that's amazing. And then there's looking back at the way I came. Alright, so I've been hiking down this gulch for about 20 minutes or so, and here's the first indication that we're getting somewhat close to the mine. This is a pretty trashed ore car. As you can see, it's got these old metal rivets in it, indicating it dates to sometime around 1915, 1920s. That's when this mine was first worked. Let's take a look at the inside. Yeah, as you can see, pretty rusted. Look how mangled it is on this side. That bar sticking out. Let's take a look at the more rivets right there. Let's look at the underside. This is where the wheels would have went. Of course they're gone, because, you know, people like taking the wheels off of these things. Let's take a look at this side. That's a really cool find. I think that's a bullet hole right there. Alright guys, so we're gonna keep heading up the gulch. Wow, check this out guys. That waterfall is running over that dead log right there. I don't think I've ever seen something like that. That's really cool. So here's a look at the terrain that I'm dealing with. Really rocky, lots of dead trees in your way. It's like an obstacle course. Oh, there's some sort of miner's artifact. I don't know what that is. I was gonna guess a barrel at first, but you see it's got these holes on what I'm guessing is the bottom. But yeah, like I said, look at all these rocks you gotta go over in this gulch. You gotta cross a creek a couple times too. Alright, so I'm still in the gulch, but I won't be for long. The junction that heads off to the left is actually right behind me. But first we're going to take a look at these couple artifacts. Right here we got what looks like, I would call it a smash bucket, but I don't think it is. It's got these old metal rivets again. Actually looks like it's got a couple hinges. So if you guys could comment what this is, that would be greatly appreciated. I am not sure what that is. Then right over this way, we actually got a flywheel. So it would have been either off of a hit and miss engine, compressor, or possibly a jaw crusher. That's really cool. A lot of awesome artifacts in this gulch. Let's take a look at the underside of it. So it's still got all those spokes. That's what I'm calling them, you know, like on a bicycle. That's really cool. And then that junction that heads off to the left, I dub it the switchback trail. Heads up this way, turns off to the left, and just keeps going up the side of the mountain. So here's a shot up the switchback trail. It was funny because the last time I was here, on the other side of those pine trees, I was bushwhacking over hill and dale on the side of the mountain right there because I couldn't find this trail. Then I went up the gulch more and then I found it. So I wasted quite a bit of time. That's why I didn't find the mine. Look at those pine trees. So I'll probably meet up with you guys way high up on the side of the mountain. I don't want to take out the GoPro every time I see something kind of cool. Alright guys, I'm up here. I don't know how high I am. I'm guessing at least 5,000 feet. I think this peak right up here, that's about maybe 7,000 or so. Here's a look the way I'm headed, and I finally found this. I believe this is the Miners Trail, and I came in from way down in there, down in the shadows where the gulch is. So there's a look where I'm headed. There's a whole bunch of pine trees up there, and this is quite the trail. Look at all these yucca. I'm so high up here. I've done many hard hikes. I feel like this probably takes a cake, or it's really close. I'm just in awe right now. This trail is something else. And right around this bend, we're gonna get a really nice shot of the mountains. Check that out right up there. I believe that peak, this one right here, that's an 8,000 footer. Whole bunch of pine trees on the side of the mountain. Really big scree field right over here. And we're gonna continue down this trail. Alright guys, so I just thought of something really cool that I might try. Hopefully you guys can hear it on video. So I'm gonna yell echo really loud and hopefully you guys can hear it. Alright, let's do it. Echo! Ooh, that was a good one. Wow, that was really loud. So right here we got one of the really cool exposed sections of trail. You can see right here there's a pretty big rock face. And then two yucca, one above and one right next to the trail. And look at how they blasted the side of this mountain out. Lots of work went into this trail and it is, like I said, super high up here. I couldn't imagine working on the side of this 100 years ago, basically. Another really big rock face. Trail really widens out right here. I just passed one of the more washed out areas, but it wasn't too terrible. And we should be getting really close to seeing the mine. I'm thinking right around the bend. Oh, don't see it yet. Alright guys, so finally made it to the foundation of this very old cabin site. Right here we have what used to be an old water heater. You can see this one as well is riveted. Pretty cool brass pipe fitting right there. Not sure what this iron or steel piece right here would have been used for. But I believe that this water heater was heated by this chimney right over here because there are 3 pipes right above it. So that probably hooked up to this. That's really cool. And then I seen this valve right over here. I went to go test it, and of course, it turns. I love stuff like that when it still turns. And yeah, like I said, there's the chimney. Not much else. You could tell that this whole area is pretty flat. So pretty sure the cabin extended to over there. And so the owner of this mine, his initials were JJ, so that's what I guess his friends would call him. Him and his 3 sons actually worked this mine. I can't remember, it was either there were 2 or 3 cabins at this site. This is one of them. So I will be headed down this way. There's an adit right across the way, and then some really cool equipment down this way. Alright guys, so this is the sad part about this mine. So I believe this is one of the only remaining structures at the site. All the other cabins and the mill, they've all been torn down. I believe the Forest Service torn down at least the cabins. But this is the old John, aka outhouse. Let's take a look on the other side. Yeah, it really sucks that the Forest Service would do such a thing, especially to such a remote place, but here's a look at it. This would have also been called the privy. And then right down here are the other cabin sites, so I'll show you guys that in a second. Alright guys, check this out. This is really cool. So I noticed that this pipe right here was melded into the tree. It's almost gone all the way around, so that's been there for at least 90 or 100 years. And then right this way, this is all that remains of the 2 or 3 cabin sites. As you can see, at least the stone walls are still standing, but other than that, it's just flattened. Someone has made a camp right here. Got a fireplace and everything. And then right over this way, there are the remnants of what would have been a cast iron stove. Right here we got the 2 burners. Alright, so I'm gonna head down this way towards the mine. So here's a look at the first mine of the day. And let's head in there. See what kind of stuff we can find. Alright, right from the get-go there's a whole bunch of gnats and flies in my face. Look at all this stuff out here. There's some older cans and bottles mixed in with more modern stuff. Seems like most of it dates from the probably 50s. So there's a junction. I'm gonna head off to the right. So while I'm walking, I will give you guys a little bit of history on this mine. So it started back in 1915, and I believe it was worked up until sometime around World War II. Well, let me turn this down so you guys can see this. Right here we got some sparkly, it's called Jersey calcite. It's kind of like flowstone right here. That's interesting. Yeah, it's definitely flowstone. It's just really dry in here. I think it would be more shiny if it wasn't. So that's a cool find. Let's keep heading down. Don't think this one will be too extensive. Oh, check that out. There's a little baby salamander right there. Hey, little buddy. Alright, let's leave him alone. It is extremely humid, especially in this section. Right here we've got a muck sheet. Looks like that face is right there. It looks like we got another junction. Let's head off to the right. That one just faces. That faces as well. Oh, that one faces too. All right. So let's see what's off to the left. Oh, I already said that one faces, didn't it? Oh yeah, more flowstone over here too. This looks like this one's sort of wet. Just look at that flowstone. Some nice stuff right there. Alright, meet up with you guys at the junction. So I headed down the left junction and it ultimately ends in a total collapse. As you can see here, all these timbers, they are extremely rotted. And here's something really cool. Check out all these roots up in the back of the mine. Wow. That's crazy. Way more over here. Makes sense because there's trees right above this adit. So I'm gonna head to the other mines. Alright guys, so right in front of me, this is actually a Chilean mill. As you can see, a lot of dirt has piled up in there. And then right up here, this is where they would have put the ore. And I believe there would have been 2 rollers going around crushing the ore. So this definitely dates back to the very early 1900s. And this thing is huge. And that is all steel and iron. Interesting opening right here. And then right above the Chilean mill, we actually have an adit. I'm not gonna head into this one because from what I've heard, this is very, very, very filled in and doesn't even amount to much. So not really worth my time. I'm very short on time, considering this was a pretty long hike. And then right here, we've actually got what I believe is a cast iron stove. You can see where the stovepipe came out from the top. So that's really cool finds right there. I will be headed up around that way to go to the main mine. Alright, so right here we got 2 ore car tracks. Where I'm standing in the general vicinity, there would have actually been a trestle, which would have led to this ore bin. Sadly, this ore bin, as you can tell, is totally collapsed. But that's just the nature of Mother Nature. She claims these things. So I'm going to take a look. There's supposed to be some really cool machinery up in here. Yeah, here it is. So right here we got the flywheel. Let's take a look up in this way. So this is actually a jaw crusher, as you can see. I believe the jaw plate on the top, that one was movable, and the bottom one was stationary. So, and that would have, like the name suggests, crushed the ore. Here's one of the sides of the ore bin. Sad to see it like this. I believe I watched a video about 3 years ago and it was still partially standing. Alright, so now I'm going to be headed down this way. There's supposed to be some really cool equipment and machinery down there. Alright guys, so I'm just below the ore bin. Here's a better shot of it. As you can tell, this face right here, this one has slid down the hill a little bit, and yeah, this thing's basically totally collapsed. It'll be down there at some point. And I'm headed down this really treacherous hill, but hopefully it's worth it. Alright guys, I am super excited right now. Right there in the middle of the screen you can see the ball mill that they were using at the mine. There's just a massive pipe going up the side of the hill right there. And talking about massive pipes, I got one right next to me. This thing probably goes up. Actually I can see it ends right there, but it definitely keeps going up. This is about probably 6 or 8 inches in diameter. You can see it keeps going down too. Alright, let's see what kind of cool stuff we can find over there. I can already see quite a bit. Alright guys, so I'm still chilling on this pipe right here. And I can't emphasize enough how peaceful and how serene this place is. I mean, if you just look right next to me, you just got the mountains and there's no noises other than the birds chirping and the creek flowing. Alright guys, finally made it to the main attraction. This is the ball mill at this mine. I think some people call it a cone mill because it's kind of shaped like a cone. But yeah, look at those huge rivets. That's my hand compared to them. And right next to the ball mill we got this flywheel. There's a smaller one up here. I bet there's a lot of stuff under all this rock right here. Wow. Check this out. Let's get that out of the shadow. Check that out. That thing's a huge gear. I couldn't imagine how big that thing was when it was whole. I mean, it probably 5 or 6 feet in diameter at least. Let's take a look up in here. Wow. So it looks like there's a couple plates, and those plates that were on the side of it, there's a couple of them right here. That's what I noticed. I was wondering what these were from. These came from the inside of the ball mill. Let's see, not much else up here except that pipe. A couple pipes and some more possible machinery up there. And there's just so much stuff right here. I could probably take a whole hour looking at all this, but I won't. This looks like a compressor. As you can see, still got the cotter pins in it. Yeah, that's a compressor, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. So right here we got a spring-loaded mechanism. And I believe this was actually the shaker table. Some people call them amalgamation tables. There's a wheel right there. Oh, no way! I've never found a wheel like this that turns. That is awesome. That turns like nothing. And I'm not sure what this is, but obviously has something to do with the mining. Yeah, there's the rest of the shaker table. And there's some really cool gears right over here. Gear here, gear here. This one doesn't turn. Not sure what this particular, almost looks like you could call it a table, what this was used for. And then right behind me, we still got the remnants of the stacked stone wall. That's really cool. I bet there's so much stuff buried up in here. So right there we got the ball mill, and I noticed some more equipment hidden in this brush. Got a couple more of these wheels. You can see how this is secured on the wood. That big flywheel. And I noticed right here there's a company name. It says M&G Company, San Francisco, California. So that stands for Mason Gottfried Company, based out of San Francisco. And then we're gonna go up around this way now. There's some more stuff around the corner. Alright, right here. Wow, we've actually got a couple engines. One right here and one hidden under the brush. These things are big. I have no clue how they got this here. Yeah, so this looks like a 8-cylinder engine. That's about all I know. So a couple of them got remnants of the spark plugs. That one's probably most intact. This is really cool. This thing is just massive. Let's look at this side. So this right here would have hooked up to this mechanism right here. This would have went right into there. Pretty sure this would have turned these wheels. Then this one's the same. It's a 8-cylinder. Not sure if these things came off of trucks. That's what I'd have to guess, because they are just huge. Let's see if we can find like a serial number or something. Here we got 61901. That's probably a serial number. Yeah, really cool stuff right here. Now I think I'm gonna head over to the mine, which is way up that way. Alright guys, so here's the tracks that I showed you before, and this actually leads straight to an adit. And it's a pretty big one at that. You can see how this left track has fallen into the ravine a little bit. So yeah, the tracks would have went right here. There's a really big hole in the ground right up there. So I'm gonna get all my equipment ready and we're gonna head in. Alright guys, so let's head into here. This is the main mine, or at least the mine that most people go into. Just off to the right, we've got a false floor and what I believe used to be an ore chute. Primitive one at that. So this is a pretty stoped out section. I've seen this right here on the floor. I'm not sure what that is. Definitely old. And then we got a pretty big hole in the ground right here. I believe that leads to the lower levels where that ore chute goes. Let's keep heading off to the right. See if it keeps going. Oh yeah, and this right here also leads to the lower levels. So let's head into the main room again. Alright, well, we got a walking stick, so I mean, it's not too risky doing this. Alright, cross the plank. Oh wow, and it just ends. There's a hole in the wall that connects to the stope. Let's cross the plank again. Alright. So this is a stope that I was talking about that other hole connected to. Looking up this way. So I'm gonna do some scrambling up here, go up to the upper levels. Alright guys, I found another portal, which is pretty cool. That was quite the climb. Looks like we got some gobbing right here. Gonna have to do some climbing on that too. Ooh, we picked up some rail. Looks like it stops right here. But yeah, look at that rail. And it stops right where that timber is. keeps going this way. And this is actually, well, it looks like a collapsed section. Let's take a look out that portal. Yeah, there's daylight. I can see the mountains. Alright guys, so I'm gonna go down to the lower levels now. Alright guys, so I think I see 3 mines over this way. There's one right here, one right there, and one right above it. Might be a possible one right here. Don't believe those ones are too extensive from what I've seen. And then that portal that I just crawled out of is right over here. So that's where the rails are. Well, I'm about to head down this ore chute. I'm gonna have to leave my trusty walking stick here while I get down into the lower levels of this mine. Okay. Here's a look at the bottom side of this false floor. Okay. It's quite a drop from here to the bottom, at least for my GoPro. I don't want to drop it or anything, so I'm going to pause you guys for now. Alright guys, so there's looking up the way I just came. There's the top of the ore chute. And here's the actual ore chute. As you can see, it's still got this mechanism for the gate. That's pretty old. And I seen right on the ground right here, this looks like this also could have been on the ore chute. And then we got some track, cross ties. The spikes would have went right here. Looks like we got some pneumatic drill pipe as well. And then right here we got a partially filled in section. I think this opening right here is where the across the plank section is. That's why all this ground fall is here. Oh, and that's really cool. So we actually got a split in the rail. Got rail going off to the left and rail going off to the right. Now I'm looking at this, I'm wondering if this is like a slide car, or that's what I would call it, slides along the tracks like this. It's the same width as the tracks, so if you guys know what that is, please comment. We got part of a bed spring right here. That's definitely an older one. So this off to the right, this just faces. And surprisingly, this faces too. No real reason to put the track if it just faces, but... And then this continues. I see they removed the track and cross ties. Wow, but it really opens up right here. That faces. We're starting to get some flowstone up here. Looks like people broke off the little stalactites, which is a shame, but that's what people do. Unless it's too dry in here, maybe they're breaking off themselves. I'm kind of low on time. I'd love to crawl through there, but I'm going to pass. That just faces. Wow. Looks like we got some more calcite right here. That's what I call sparkly. Like in the Bighorn Mine video, I kept referring to the sparkly. It's pretty cool down here. I'd say the temperature is probably in the 60s. And you know what? This adit is really getting small. I don't know if you guys noticed. I'm crouching now, It's about 4 feet tall. And I'd have to guess that this is the end. Alright, meet you guys outside. Alright guys, so hopefully you can see this. Right there in the middle of the screen, that's the ore bin that I was just at. Right above it, you can barely see the adit that I went in. And then way down below, that's where all the amazing and beautiful machinery is. And I'll leave you guys with this beautiful view of the mountain peaks. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was really fun and amazing solo explore. I know some of you are going to give me some flack for this, for doing solo, but you know, when you don't die, it's really an amazing feeling. You know, just being out here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.